Alright, I'll show you how quick this head unit starts up. Bit of a video I'm going to run you through quickly, just showing some features on this Teyes. It's a CC3 2K. It's the upgraded screen version. So that's in the day mode brightness at the moment. I'll show you. So it's pretty much almost full brightness to what I've got the settings maxed out at. Lights come on, it'll dim it. That's minimum I've got it set on. Alright, so I've got this is your basic launcher essentially. So you got your media player here, which will play your Bluetooth stuff, your internal songs and stuff if you got anything stored in the head unit itself, as well as anything from apps like Spotify or YouTube Music or any of these sort of things listed here. Mine's running YouTube Music there at the moment. So obviously you can see the volume buttons work on the steering wheel. Oh, I can't see that. Ways running on this screen, you can change whatever you want running on this little block here on your home screen by going that there. You can have map, which stays at the moment. You can have driving, which is a silly animation thing they've got with a car that'll do stuff as you're turning and braking and turning on your lights and all kinds of stuff, which is just distracting and shouldn't even be on here, I reckon. You can stick your reverse camera on there, which would have to have power for it to run. If I put it reverse, you'll see it come on. Oh, well, guess not. Maybe, yeah, not with the setup I've got here at the moment. Probably with the aftermarket camera you'll be able to run it there. DVR I haven't installed yet, but that's where you'd have your DVR, which is your dash cam. So you'd have your dash cam pictures playing here the whole time. But obviously maps or Waze is the go for me anyway. This section here is radio, but it also can swap to the other radio app on this unit, which is, let me show you. So there's your normal radios, which is your radio stations, and then you've got the essentially internet radio, and it sort of integrates Spotify and some other stuff as well if you want to use it that way. Yeah, so that's the online version of Triple J radio station, which would be playing on this home screen now. So if you tap that button, it flicks between the local normal radio and online radio, and it's something I only figured out today. Same sort of deal with this launcher here, with how you've got your different apps you can run, like Spotify, which will open it there first, and if you're playing it, it should come up there. And if you have your phone connected, you tap there, it'll bring up this phone picture, which would just be playing the audio that you've got playing in your phone. So whatever music you were listening to there would be playing here then. Applications here, this is just a bunch of shortcuts. CarLink 2, that is what runs your CarPlay and your Android Auto. It's I think it's to do with it not being like an official supported Android Auto or anything like that, so it's got to run through a app that essentially launches the copy of it, but you won't notice it once you've opened it. I just can't show you because you can't record and run it on the same time because it'll cut the camera off. YouTube, everything works. I've turned everything to dark mode, made it a hell of a lot nicer, because with the screen being so good and bright and everything, it just blinds you. Can't use it like that. Yeah, it just works. Sound is great, everything. My sizes and everything scaled is a little bit different. I've changed some of the settings I've mentioned on the thread I created about how to do it. So essentially all my pictures would be a little bit bigger, and maybe the text would be slightly bigger too in some cases. Bluetooth, that's just where you call, and nothing fancy about that. You phone book, missed calls, all that normal jazz. Spotify works, radios works. That's the ones I use pretty much all the time. At first I thought I'd be using CarPlay on Android Auto a lot, but the more I'm using this unit, I just like tethering the phone and straight away just launching whatever music I was listening last time into it. It just comes up what you stopped with last time, which is actually quite nice. I like that more than just going back to Android Auto. It's only really when I'm listening to audiobooks or something like that, where in that case I just go to the Bluetooth player there anyway. It'll just continue. I don't need to be looking at it. But you can install Audible on here as well, and it'll play it, although it won't be downloaded locally unless you download it here as well, but it would sync up. I know that's the way it works on something else I've got. That circle there is just your menu with all the apps: YouTube, Waze. Yahoo is just like this weird visual display thing. Time display is just a cool clock. You've got a whole bunch of different faces you can chuck on there. Basic style, and then like sort of different skins you can have, and you can actually make a launch to this as well. Like endless possibilities on this head unit. If you don't like anything, you can just change it. It's up to your imagination essentially. Play Store is where you'll be getting all your apps from. It's an Android unit, so that's pretty standard. Fan control, I'll show you that just in case. I've got mine just set on automatic, so head unit is currently 40 degrees. It's not going to be overheating. If it needs to cool down, it'll switch the fan on by itself. If for some reason you have a problem with the thing, you can turn the fan on manually. I think that's how the older units used to work, but yeah, this works fine just like that. And from everything I've read, this runs significantly cooler than earlier models. No real problems with overheating on this. Actually, I'll show you this on the side here. You can slide this up and down to where you want, and you can adjust the size of it as well. I can't remember where though. I've lost track of where I did that, but yeah, you tap that, you can volume up and down, return, and that is tap once to pause your music, hold it in to switch the screen off. It's pretty simple. That's your nav button on the bottom there. Takes me to Waze. Okay, I did have it set as maps beforehand, but didn't like that. I like the Waze works more on this unit. And if I do want to use maps, I just go into Android Auto, because my phone's still set on maps on that, so it's a really quick way of swapping between the two without having to bug around much. What else? Okay, we'll run through some settings. This can get lost quite a bit in here. Wi-Fi, this is pretty all simple stuff. Won't have to show you anything there. Car model. that's where you go to adjust in the enter CAN bus settings. That's where you go to adjust your, I'll show you this. So essentially this is what I got mine running on. You got to be careful here. In some stuff it'll make the volume way too high, or some of the ISO stuff not work right, so run with that, and at least that. Well, at least these first two do, and you should be alright. You can play around with those other ones. I've played around a fair bit to try and get different results, and I just settled on that there to get the ISO stuff, CAN bus, working properly. Anything that didn't work right was my forward and back buttons on the media, on the steering wheel, and there's an option here, I'll show you in a second, way to swap that around if you do have that issue. Display is nothing, it's just your brightness limits you can set there, and then there's the actual voltage limits you can adjust as well, which would in a different place where you can go even further with it. That's where I got mine to go so nice and dim, where it doesn't blind you at night. Sound settings, yeah, equalizer. It's pretty cool on this. That's what I'm running. It's pretty cool. Maybe a bit too bassy at the moment. I might have to bring it down a little bit over here still. It did sound a bit lacking at first, but I brought these up a bit at the start here and towards the end a little bit as well, and yeah, it sounds pretty great at the moment, especially if you're playing straight from the head unit. Awesome sound. So general, here we go. So nav app, this is what will launch when you tap that button that's in the bottom corner here on your home screen. So any nav you've got loaded, you can choose which one would launch. Launcher app, that's that one in the square that I showed you. So I've got Waze set there as well. You can have some other stuff set there as well. Auto run at boot, so you can set your Android Auto to auto boot if you want to. I had it like that for a while, and then I started liking using the screen more instead. And one thing I noticed, if you have that, if Android Auto boots up, or I guess CarPlay as well, it will cut off your Wi-Fi to the phone. I mean the tethering data connection, because it needs that Wi-Fi to run wirelessly. So you'll have to go there and then essentially reconnect your Wi-Fi if you want to have your streaming and all that running on the head unit. Otherwise it'll just go straight into it every time you start it up. That's why I turned it off. Plus I don't use it anymore anyway, so I don't have any of the launch apps on there at the moment. There's voltage displays, temperature displays, all kinds of stuff you can turn on there if you want to. Factory, so yeah, we get into the more sort of detailed settings. So 168, the password for that one. Radars, front view, this is most of the stuff you get with your head unit. Backlight for a current adjustment, that's where you go to adjust your voltage limits. So 168 password again, and yeah, so you adjust it down there. Mine's set on 20 to 60 at the moment. That's what I like, so it can go quite a lot brighter still, but it's nearing the limit of how low it can go without going completely black or flickering. You can have your aircon controls, everything sharp as well. I don't like it, because why would you? You've got the stuff showing here anyway. So if you do like it coming up on the screen, it comes up with the display there. I turned it off. Same with the radar for your reversing. I actually turn mine off because I like being able to see the full camera when you reverse instead of having a bloody radar block you up like on the factory camera as well. You can hear it still, so that's more than good enough, I think. Original car agreement, here we go. So you can see some of these settings, so you can swap where your driver door is and all kinds of stuff. Reverse or previous and next, that's the one I use to flick my media buttons around on the steering wheel. You can do the same with your volume if that's, see, essentially you can fix any of the steering wheel stuff up here, and you can go one step further and actually program your steering wheel buttons to something specific, but I haven't done that because I don't want to mess with that sort of stuff. It does what it's supposed to, so I'm going to leave it at that. But that is an option on there, which is in steering wheel settings there. You can do that. Location, multi-gesture operation. It's a thing you can turn on where if you touch two spots at once in different ways, like it displays there, it does different things. So I don't have it on. I don't want to have it do funny stuff when I try and go back or something and I accidentally touch somewhere. I did try it for a while. I didn't like it much. Developer options, that's another handy one. 681232 is the password for that one. This is where I went down to drawing and to smallest width and adjusted that to 600 was 685. That made all my text and icons and stuff slightly bigger on the screen, but still small enough and so you can see everything, and as well kept the normal layout of, say, YouTube music. We'll go into that, I'll show you. Let's just play something. So if with the current settings, the original way setting is like this. If you play it, it looks like this as well, except maybe smaller text. If you go less than 600, you lose this whole half side and you just have the icon essentially taking up the whole screen. I guess that's the way Google does the scaling on it. It would essentially look like that's what you get. You can't have that other page. You just get this every time. Similar thing with Spotify did something similar to that. The way the icon scaled, I found 600 to be the sweet spot. Makes everything slightly bigger on the big screen, which is nice and easy to see, but doesn't sort of wreck the prettiness of it. What else can I show you? Oh, something I found literally just before, the voice commands on this thing. It's got like some AI voice control thing, which you got to be careful what you say. I guess there's a way to turn it off. I didn't even know about that until I started recording this. For instance, if I say full screen, yeah, which could be handy. Full screen, I don't know if it's going to do anything again. No, won't do anything. It can do the same with split screen. If you've got something selected that it can go split screen with, see, like that. Whole bunch of stuff. You can look up all the keywords on Google, so you don't have to press the steering wheel button. It just does stuff you say like mute volume or volume up. So yeah, I didn't even know about that. This unit can take two SIM cards. I mean, one in the unit that goes in the top, and one that goes into a cable adapter at the back. I don't have any at the moment because it's going to cost me $10 a month more to get one for Telstra. I don't know, there's probably some options we can do it cheaper. I just find tethering straight from my phone's Wi-Fi works just fine. It connects instantly every time and don't have any issues. It's just a case of if you want to leave your phone on tethering the whole time or not. I've got mine set. It shows some volts up here, which is pretty cool. Shows temperature, data transfer rate as well. So you see it's pretty much using bugger all. Yeah, and some Wi-Fi signal and stuff. Unit's got built-in Wi-Fi, built-in GPS, built-in pretty much everything. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I can really show you, except maybe I'll show you it actually playing some videos or something. I'm guessing any sort of app you'd use on your phone to watch media or video or anything would work on this. Let's show you Prime Video. Let's before I get asked, that's just a scan gauge 3 with the colors change on it. OBD 2 plug thing. It shows you all your information. Look it up, don't ask me any more about it. It's all over the internet. What's going on? Okay.
Hello and welcome to the Sweatbox.
So as you can see, it's pretty much HD TV quality. You do not need any better than this. Probably won't find better quality on this in a car screen for a long time. Won't need to show you more than that. I just thought I'd show you a bit of an example. There's the clock. You can add shortcuts on this side there as well. Tap on it, goes away. Oh, I'll show you this. So you got, say, that, and then I go to Ways. Oh shit, what am I doing? Say that, and I go to Ways and I press split screen. Then I can have 2 apps running side by side if they're compatible, which is pretty handy. If it's what you want, you can swap them around obviously, but yeah, a bit more customizability. Talk about customizability. Up here is your themes, which you can swap your color scheme. That's a standard one. I've got this one on. These two changes the layout completely and it looks completely different. Some stuff doesn't quite work, so you can try them, won't break anything, but I would prefer this one. It looks pretty clean, especially you can change wallpapers back here as well. What's going on? So I can go wallpapers. One of them loads, one of them doesn't. I'm not sure what it does. There we go. Where's this other one? I liked that one. I like that one. I think I'll use that one. Gives it a bit more color. can put your own pictures up as well. You can change your own boot logo, even though you pretty much never see a boot logo because it loads instantly. It's only if you force reload it where you'd see a boot logo. If you're driving at night, you want it completely off, you can just hit that. Everything still works. You tap on the screen again, back it is. Fair enough. I think I've shown you pretty much everything you need to know for the basic unit. Yeah. Anyway, I rate this unit pretty high. I was sort of hesitant ordering it, and when I got it first, there's a few things that bugged me, but playing around with especially some of those settings I showed you now, this thing is pretty moi. So thanks